French security services are a little dubious about what the Ukrainian services have been saying about this person allegedly planning to attack 15 games. This guy doesn't have the profile to pull off such attacks. When the news came out about the arrest that took place already 2 weeks ago, the targets mentioned were only mosques and synagogues in France, not the Euro games. And it's interesting at this point that, for the time being, the French have really ruled out terrorism in this case.
How big an arms cache did they actually discover?
It was quite large, and that's why they're concerned about the issue of potentially this person reselling it to jihadists or terrorists or any kind of other group. So that is very meaningful, and we know that a lot of the trafficking of weapons happens and take place in Eastern Europe and through the Balkans.
I'm looking at the claim from Ukraine, from the SBU, the security service there. They say you had 5 Kalashnikovs, 2 anti-tank grenade launchers, and 100 detonators and a lot of explosives, as well as 5,000 rounds of ammunition. Is that challenged by the French, or are they going along with that?
No, I mean, what the Ukrainians have found is not at all challenged by the French. What is more challenged is the fact that this person could potentially think about planning attacks on 15 games. I mean, obviously, you need a huge network to even think about doing that. You know, one game is already a huge undertaking for a terror group. So for somebody like this that could or could not be a lone wolf, to even think about planning attacks on 15 games is a little out of his league.
You would think it would be pretty difficult to amass this sort of cache of arms in France. Is that right?
Yes and no. Unfortunately, we've seen with the cases in Paris and Brussels that jihadists have been very good at getting weapons from abroad and hiding them within the country. So that's one thing that, unfortunately, at this point, is still a problem when it comes to arms cache. So the French, I'm sure, are grateful that the Ukrainians got this before those weapons would make their way into France.
Mm. So how does this reflect on security for Euro 2016, for the championship?
Look, at this point, they've maxed up the security measures that they can do. I mean, in terms of manpower, 90,000 security staff, including police, army, and private security, are going to secure the games. So in terms of if it's going to change anything from what they're going to do, no. But I think they would be wise to cancel the fan zones that they're going to have in 10 cities, because that's even more of a burden on security services. The stadiums are already tough to secure, but the fan zones are going to be a nightmare.
And these fan zones are what? Safe areas where fans can go and drink before the game, that kind of thing?
They are actually, they're going to have one under the Eiffel Tower where they expect 100,000 people that are going to watch the games on huge screens. So that's very problematic in terms of security and in terms of manpower of what you can do.
It sounds like you're very glad that's not your headache.
Honestly, I think if the French Ministry of Interior wants to get rid of one of the major headaches from the Euro 2016, they should straight out cancel those fan zones.